Hi, friends. Today I want to share a powerful story with you. One about strength, hidden success, and surprising forgiveness. I hope it inspires you like it inspired me. Enjoy. I used to tell myself I didn't care what my family thought. I stood in my fancy office, looking out at the city lights, when an email from my younger sister popped up. Mom and Dad are having a hard time. They need help with the mortgage. I know you probably don't have much, but anything would help. I laughed quietly. If only they knew the truth. 10 years ago, when I was 18, I stood in our small living room while my dad yelled, "Art school? You want to waste your life on that?" He waved my acceptance letter around like it was trash. "We didn't raise you to be this foolish, Sarah." My mom sat quietly on the couch, not saying a word, like always. "I got a scholarship," I said, my voice shaking. "And I've saved up from my part-time jobs." "Ridiculous," Dad said, crumpling the letter. "You're going to business school like your sister. That's final." But this time, I didn't give in. No. That one word changed everything. My dad's face turned purple with anger. "Then leave. If you think you can make it on your own, go. But don't come crawling back." That night, I packed my bags. My hands were shaking, but I was determined. My sister Meline watched me from her room, shocked. "You're really leaving?" "I have to," I whispered. "I can't live a life that's not mine." Just as I finished packing, my mom showed up at the door. I thought she might stop me, but instead, she gave me an envelope. "Your grandmother wanted you to have this when the time was right. I think that time is now." Inside was a letter and a small key. I didn't read the letter until I was alone in a cheap motel room, trying not to cry. "My dear granddaughter," it said, "if you're reading this, you've chosen your own path. I knew you would. The key is for box 247 at First National Bank. Inside, you'll find what you need to begin your journey. Real art isn't just about beauty. It's about finding value where others don't. Love, Grandma Rose." The next morning, I opened the box. Inside were old-looking jewelry pieces, some papers, and another note. "These belong to my grandmother," it said. "She was an art collector in the 1920s. They may look like costume jewelry, but they're not. Go see Marcus Chun at Golden Age Antiques. He'll know their real worth." When Marcus told me the truth, I almost dropped the box. The jewelry was worth over $400,000. But even more valuable was what he said next. "You understand real art. Want to learn the business?" That's how it all started. Marcus became my mentor. He taught me everything about art and antiques, how to spot real pieces, make deals, and connect with collectors. While my family probably thought I was working in a diner or homeless, I was building a powerful network. 2 years later, I opened my first art gallery. By year 5, I had 3. Now, 10 years later, I run the biggest private art dealership in the country. I'm worth over $14 million. My family never knew. I only posted photos that showed a simple life. My sister would send messages sometimes, suggesting job openings. "In case you need real work." I kept up the act. It was easier than dealing with their sudden interest in me. But as I read my sister's email about our parents' mortgage problems, I knew it was time to stop hiding the truth. I picked up my phone and called her. "Meline, bring Mom and Dad to my office tomorrow. We need to talk." "Your office?" she asked, confused. "You mean the coffee shop where you work?" "No," I said, glancing around my luxury penthouse office in Morgan Tower. "My real office. I'll text you the address." "Morgan Tower?" she laughed. "Sarah, you can't just walk into that building and pretend to work there. Security won't even let you in." I smiled, thinking of how I bought the building last year. "They'll let me in. Just be there at 9 a.m. And Meline, tell Mom and Dad to bring all their mortgage paperwork." The next morning, I stood by the window, watching them pull up in Dad's old car. Even from the 30th floor, I could see their confusion when the security guard led them to the private elevator, the one that only goes to the penthouse. My assistant buzzed me. "Your family is here, Miss Harrison. Send them in," I said, turning to face the door. Their reactions were everything I imagined. My dad stopped walking, stunned. My mom held onto the doorframe, like she might fall. Meline just blinked over and over, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. They looked around at the office. Original paintings worth millions on the walls, a polished Art Deco desk, and floor-to-ceiling windows showing the city I had quietly taken over. "Sarah," Mom whispered. "What is this?" "This is my office," I said calmly. "Welcome to Harrison Fine Arts and Acquisitions." My dad's face turned red, just like it used to. "No way. You're a barista or something. You post about your little apartment, your struggles?" I walked over to a painting I once bought for $500, now worth $2.3 million. "Actually, I own the largest private art dealership in the country. Those posts? Just a cover story. But the Morgan Tower, it's yours?" Meline asked, barely getting the words out. I finished the sentence for her. "It belongs to my company. And since I own the company..." That's when Dad exploded. "How could you hide this from us? We're your family. All this time you've been..." "Been what?" I said firmly. "Secretly working hard? Secretly proving you were wrong? Secretly succeeding?" I walked to my desk and sat down, letting the silence speak for itself. "Now, about that mortgage problem." They were speechless. Dad's face turned a dark red. Mom kept touching the edge of my desk, like she couldn't believe it was real. Meline stood frozen, her mouth slightly open as she stared at the Monet painting on my wall. I opened my laptop, pulled up my bank account, and turned the screen so they could see it. "Since we're being honest now, here's my current balance." The number on the screen, $14,236,542. My mom gasped. My dad's hand started to shake. Meline dropped her fancy purse, the one she always bragged about at family events. "This is why you're here," I said, sliding a folder across the desk. "You need help with the mortgage. You're 3 months behind. The bank is close to taking the house." "How did you?" Meline started to ask. "I own shares in that bank," I said simply. "I know everything about our finances. Dad's failed investments. Mom's credit card debt. Your real estate mess, Meline." My dad finally spoke. "You knew we were struggling and didn't help? We're your family." I stood up slowly and leaned on my desk. "Remember the night you kicked me out? You said, 'Don't come crawling back when you fail.' Well, I didn't fail." "That was different," he said quickly. "We were trying to protect you." "No," I said. "You were trying to control me. That's not the same thing." I walked to the window and looked out at the city I built my life in alone. For 10 years, I built this company from scratch. No help, no support, just hard work and the gift Grandma Rose gave me. My mom looked up, surprised. "Rose? What did she give you?" "She believed in me," I said, turning around. "She gave me the key to a future none of you saw. But I built this empire myself." I looked at them one by one. Every holiday, I listened to the little jabs. "Still at that little art shop, Sarah? When are you getting a real job? You could always come work in the mailroom at my company." Meline blushed. That last comment had been hers at Christmas. "And now," I said, "now you want my help. Now, suddenly, I matter. Because you've seen the number in my bank account." My dad straightened up like he was going into business mode. "Let's put the past behind us and talk about the mortgage as a family." "Hold on," I said, raising my hand. "Let me show you something." I pressed a button, and the screen behind me lit up. It showed bank records, debts, failed investments, and property info. "This is everything," I said. "All the debt, all the damage. The total amount needed to fix it all is $2.4 million. My dad looked hopeful. Meline smiled. My mom reached across the desk for my hand. I pulled my hand away. "I've had that money set aside for years, just in case. Every time you came close to losing the house, I waited. I wanted to see if you'd take responsibility. But you didn't. You kept borrowing, remortgaging, making excuses. You never stopped to think about changing." I sat back down. "So here's what's going to happen. I'll pay the debt. I'll save the house. I'll even set up a trust fund to keep our family secure." They all started talking at once, but I raised my hand again. "But there are rules," I said. "First, Dad retires. No more risky business deals. Second, Meline shuts down her failing real estate business and goes back to school. You always wanted to be a teacher, remember? Meline's eyes widened. She hadn't heard someone say that in years. Third, Mom finally opens her bookstore. I'll fund it. Mom started to cry. She had given up that dream decades ago. And lastly, we start family therapy. Every week. Because money isn't the only problem, and I'm tired of pretending it is. My dad tried to argue, but my mom placed her hand on his arm. We'll do it, she said quietly. All of it. I nodded and pressed another button. My assistant came in with a stack of papers. These make it official, I said. The debt relief. The trust fund. The conditions. Take them home. Read them. Sign them. Bring them back tomorrow. As they left, still in shock, I added one more thing. And, Dad, remember what you said 10 years ago? About me crawling back when I failed. He looked at me, his face full of guilt. I never failed, I said softly. I just succeeded without you. They left without saying a word, holding the papers like they were lifelines. My assistant brought in a cup of tea. You okay? She asked kindly. I thought about everything. The struggles, the long nights, the loneliness. But I also thought about how far I'd come. Yes, I said, smiling a little. I finally am. The next day, they brought back the signed papers. That was the start of healing, not just fixing the money issues, but the family too. It wasn't quick or easy, but we worked at it. My dad eventually apologized, something I never thought I'd hear. My mom opened her bookstore, and it became a local favorite. Meline went back to school and now teaches art to little kids. She's never been happier. As for me, I kept growing my business, but now I live openly. No more hiding. No more pretending I'm less than who I am. Because the best kind of success isn't revenge. It's showing people how far you can go when they never believed in you. On my desk sits my grandmother's old jewelry box, the one that started it all. Inside, I kept just one piece, a simple gold locket with her photo inside. On tough days, I open it and read the note she once wrote. True art isn't just about creating beauty. It's about seeing value where others see nothing. She was right. And sometimes, the most valuable thing you can discover is your own worth.